harmonica as well as his own personal mannerisms, very similar to Little Walter. So I took it upon myself to produce my first record. Now, I didn't know what I was doing, but I had some help. People like Steve Weisner and Dick Sherman and Jim O'Neill were all around me, and they wanted to see me through this, as well as the artists who realized that I was kind of young and naive, but people like Freddie Below and Robert Lockwood, who joined me on this first endeavor, made sure that I had a good record by the time I left. And after I'd done it once, I saw the process. And after I had recorded it and was putting out this on a new record label, Blues Over Blues, my dad came up with that name. At that point, I was taken in by people like Bob Kester, who wanted to make sure that I knew my way around the record, the business part of the record label. And I really appreciate all the help. And it was great also to do something very important in those artists' lives. That was really some of their hugest accomplishments, and I was able to provide that for them. And in the process, make a friend, learn a lot about harmonica, and do something that I think is, to this day, still celebrated. So about a year after that, Big Leon Brooks, that was another great session with Louis Myers and Pine Top Perkins, Big Moose Walker. Eddie Taylor was a part of that. It was really, those were some really great experiences. So I just went for broke. I realized fairly quickly that running a record label was not necessarily great business, but that was a lesson in life also. I think it was, the Little Willie was something called Birdland. And then we went to a better studio for the second one. We went to Curtom, which was Curtis Mayfield. So the Curtis Mayfield and Linda Clifford records were recorded there. There's a engineer, I think he's still active today, Freddie Breitberg, who was really great. And so we made those records there in that wonderful studio that had shag carpet from floor to ceiling. It was very cool, and all those records were framed in the lobby over there. It was a very, very cool place to record. Both of them were really, but each one was a different sound, a different animal, a different level.
Hiya! You're listening to Blues America, and I'm your host, Drew Verbis. I'm speaking with a critically acclaimed harmonica master, Bob Corritore. If you missed anything, that's all right. Just head over to our website and press rewind on our streaming audio feed. So, Bob, we've been remembering your famous Chicago roots, but really you're known for all the great things you've accomplished while you've lived in Arizona. Tell me about your transition to Arizona, and at some point you developed a relationship with the great late Louisiana Red.
I was trying to figure out my life at that point in time, as I loved the blues so much, and I went to college to be in business, and the two weren't living together very well. So if I was out late at night in the clubs, it made the next day at work very hard, and I found myself kind of in a dilemma. And some of the gigs I was doing were in some of the most impoverished places in Chicago, and as much as I loved it, it just did not add up to what looked to me as a good career decision. It just, I was playing with some of the greatest artists in one of the best places in the world for blues in Chicago, but I was trying to figure all this out. So I thought I would take a chill for a year and come out and spend some time with my brother. And came out, and I love of course, being from Chicago, I love the wonderful weather here in Phoenix, Arizona. It's like nothing else. I couldn't imagine a winter in Chicago after being spoiled by the Phoenix winters. So I wanted to enjoy a little of that, say that I lived in Phoenix for a year, and that's really what I planned to do. And then I planned on going back to Chicago after that. It seemed like a temporary little blip in the radar. But as it turned out, I came here, and without even knowing it, I started setting up roots. A few months into my trip here in Phoenix, I was staying with my brother, and I get a call from Louisiana Red, who I had played with in Chicago at the Delta Fish Market. And Red asked me where I was. I said, well, I'm in Phoenix. How'd you get this number? He said, I called your Chicago number and got the forwarding number. And Red also said that he was thinking about coming out to Phoenix because he knew Eunice Davis, who was a blues singer that was based out of here. So he, lo and behold, came out before a few weeks were up. I had told him, well, Red, if you do come out here, let's get some gigs. So I guess that was all he needed to come out. Red at that point in time, though he had made some fame for himself, he was really a international artist that had some hits and done all that, but he was kind of a wandering stranger. He was more like a stray dog than any human being I'd ever met. He had been orphaned very early in life, and so he was so open and vulnerable to people that would accept him that he perhaps trusted a little too much just out of the pure hope and perhaps maybe even desperation. I hate to speak of him in those terms because I think of Red as probably one of the most pure human beings that ever existed. Anyway, he came to Phoenix, and we were playing together, and a week after he came to Phoenix, Eunice calls and says, better come pick Red up. I just threw him outdoors, and lo and behold, I go to pick up Red, and my life at that moment changed because at 25 years old, I became responsible for another human being. If I hadn't taken care of Red at that point, Red probably would have been homeless. He might have found his way to the next place, but I took him in, and we made a family in a way. He became like a brother to me, and it was a lifelong friendship. That was something that was really powerful. Red showed me so many things in life that I didn't even know I was learning at the time. And reflecting back, I see all the changes that he allowed me. And it was a very powerful experience to be around somebody of that stature in the blues, to wake up in the morning and have Red playing some of the most amazing John Lee Hooker or Lightnin' Hopkins as breakfast is being cooked. It was something that I will always cherish. So Red lived in Phoenix for a year. That was during the year 1982, and went off to Germany where he would meet his wife. He had a tour annually with Lippmann and Rau, LNR. And but in that year, we scuffled. We did what we could. We got some gigs here and there, but we made our ends meet. We kept food on the table and a roof over our heads, and we made a friendship that lasted a lifetime. Red was a good man. I learned so much musically from him, too. It was just wonderful. We played pretty much every day together, and it really showed me a whole different side of my own ability to play harmonica. So I'll always cherish Red as one of my greatest friends in my life.
home and left, man. Wouldn't even feed my cat and dog. They was hungry for days. Had me like a bump on the log. Everybody! Whoa! Tell me about it. That woman treated me.
Damn right.
Damn right. We got the blues. More blues on our Facebook and Twitter.
More with this week's special guest, the star of the show, Bob Corritore, when Blues America returns. But first, the Blues Break, big number 1. It's the new release from Shamika Copeland. The battle is over, but the war goes on.
The Blues Break. Blues Break, big number 1. Number 1. Number 1. Number 1. Number 1. If you sang the song the way it was written, and you march along to the beat of the drum, someday soon you gonna wake up singing, the battle is over, but the war goes on. Everybody plays, follow the leader. But what if the leader picks up a gun? Remember when you jumped to the 8 o'clock whistle? The battle is over, but the war goes on. If you close your eyes when you hear the thunder, and you cry in the rain and smile in the sun, who do you fool but me and you, brother? The battle is over, but the war goes on. You'd be a millionaire. If thoughts could kill, there'd be nobody here. So many thinking evil and talking jive. It's only true love keeps this world alive.